Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of the First Galactic Podcast. And this is a Monday reading here with Nate. And last week we were talking about our ally, the Force. And this week, as we continue on with the Force, we're going to be talking about Guardians of Peace and Justice, which is the Jedi Order. So, our holocron file name for this week is the Jedi Order. Our key temple locations is Octo, never sure how to say that, Coruscant, Ilum, another one, Ilum, could be whichever one, and Lothal. Notable examples, some of these are pretty obvious. I think all of them are pretty obvious. Is we've got Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, Rey Skywalker. Wow, big choice there. Mace Windu, Ahsoka Tano, Leia Organa, Count Dooku, Qui-Gon Jinn, and from the new series, Avar Kriss. The aim of the Jedi Order is for peace, justice, balance of the Force. Man, I really wish we could have done the Anakin line there. So status report is rebuilding. Interesting. An order of guardians as old as the Republic. They are sworn to protect. The Jedi Knights are the foremost followers of the Force, a mystical energy field that binds all living things. For millennia, they have upheld the ideals of the Republic, and their philosophy focuses on maintaining balance and harmony. Through the Force, they can achieve spectacular feats of agility, perception, telepathy, and telekinesis. A true mark of a Jedi is the ability to sense the connectivity and harmony of surrounding life and root out causes of imbalance. But despite this advantage, they are nearly wiped out from existence by dark forces opposed to their philosophy. Jedi devote their entire lives to the study of the Force, traditionally starting as initiates identified and brought into the Order at a very young age. Infants and toddlers are the norm, with rare exceptions made for older children. The Jedi seek to steer impressionable minds away from fear, hatred, and other dark emotions that develop early. For most within the Republic, offering a Force-sensitive child to the Order is an incredible honor, but it is also a heart-wrenching choice. The child, by Jedi doctrine, cannot know his or her her birth family. Familial attachments are surrendered in service to the Order. Now, that's probably one of the hardest things about the Jedi to really wrap your head around is like, why do you just have to take people from their family, you know? Like, that seems like something that the Sith would do, where when you hear it, you're like, are you sure you guys are the good guys? Like, that sounds like a pretty heart-wrenching thing for everyone involved, but I guess that's just how things ran. So the circle of life. As Jedi younglings mature, they are placed into training groups called clans. These clans learn under the guidance of a single Jedi Master. In the middle of their teen years, biological equivalents for species other than humans may vary. Younglings are paired with a Master for more direct training. Padawan learners accompany their Jedi Master on assignment, learning more about the galaxy at large through direct experience. After a decade or so of apprenticeship, a Padawan is subject to the trials. A Jedi trial is highly personalized, different for every apprentice, meant to specifically challenge a Padawan's blind spots and weaknesses. Upon successfully completing the trials by verdict of the Jedi Council, the Padawan enters knighthood. And one of the great honors of the Jedi Knight is to take an apprentice, thus perpetuating the cycle and training of education. The Jedi Council often take care to pair masters and Padawans who will learn the most from one another. The next stage of a Jedi Knight's path is mastery, with a seat on the Jedi High Council, the pinnacle. Going to the next page here. Achievement. 12 Jedi Masters serve this body, and even they still probe the mysteries of the Force, seeking new knowledge and insight. So we've got 2 more pages that we are going to get into next week before we get into specific. We're going to have Yoda after. Wow, that's going to be an exciting one. Last week, for those of you who are so inclined, if you saw on our YouTube thumbnail, we had an image of Yoda, and it was Yoda kind of learning about how to keep his, I guess, Force ghost alive. So how to continue on after death and be there. And that was the thumbnail image for our video last week. And I think that is definitely one of the most significant parts of Star Wars. Again, if you haven't seen the animated series, you're going to hear it from me almost every single time that I think you guys should watch it. There's some fantastic stuff on simply on Yoda and that whole story. And you start to really feel for Qui-Gon Jinn, and you start to understand him a little bit more and see him as a real master and someone that they really looked up to, and even Yoda looked up to. Where you kind of miss that if you've only seen the normal trilogy. You don't really have that sense. I mean, you get a little bit of Obi-Wan at the end there, where in the prequel trilogy, where there's some reference to him, But man, oh man, did they do a good job on all of that in Rebels and Clone Wars. So, getting to our captions today, we've got the High Republic. The galaxy looked to the Jedi to peaceably settle disputes and render aid during the golden era of the High Republic. So, for those of you interested in the High Republic era, Noah is reading The Light of the Jedi. We do post that once a week. It should be, from what I've heard from everybody else, they love it. Really enjoy the book so far. And getting to the end, I think they're getting to the end. But Noah's really starting to say that it's starting to pick up. So if you're interested, definitely give that a read. We can link to it down in the description. So Rise of the Jedi Order. And this is more of a timeline here, so I actually might drop down to the next quote for you guys. This is on page 59 and 58. Sorry if I didn't mention that before for those of you guys following along. So we've got the Jedi Temple on Coruscant is an ancient structure that reaches deep beneath the city surface into the depths below. I love Coruscant. Coruscant's so awesome. How it's just like a city, just keeps going down and down and down, layer by layer. I think it's super cool. Not quite talked about enough in Star Wars. You see it a little bit with Ahsoka there in Clone Wars. But man, I am just a walking advertisement for Clone Wars and Rebels. Obi-Wan Kenobi. For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, before the dark times, before the Empire. So that's old Obi-Wan from Episode 4, New Hope. All right, Rise of the Jedi Order. And this is the timeline we've got here. So we've got 25,000 before the events of Star Wars Episode 4. And this is called Ancient Beginnings. So this is the Jedi Order is founded possibly on Octo. We're going to call it Octo. We're going to call it Octo. Why not? It's the one thing I didn't say. 1032 before Star Wars Episode 4. And this is the Rise of the Republic. So Republic formation comes after the Jedi defeat the Sith. And defeat is in quotations there because, technically didn't defeat them. So now we've got 300 to 100 before Star Wars Episode 4. And this is Jedi Glory. The High Republic and the Jedi enjoy an era of heroism. So it seems like everything's happy, life is good, people are enjoying the galaxy. Now we've got 42 before Star Wars Episode 4, shock departure. Dooku departs from the Jedi. It's interesting that they give him his own section because, if you watch just the movies only, sure, he's a big character. He's got the very memeable arms being chopped off, his head gets chopped off, right? But if you look at the shows, again, animated shows, he's a really strong character, and he's got a lot of impact there to the separatist movement. And he's almost more of like someone that, as you watch it, you're like, oh, boy, he's got a lot of, I don't want to say good ideas, but he's definitely more of the political mindset and has an idea of more than just, I am a lightsaber wielding man, So now we got 24 years before Star Wars Episode 4. We've got the start of the Separatists, and that's Dooku leads the Separatist movement, of course, right after we say that. Now we've got 22 years before Episode 4. We've got Galaxy at War. This is where the Clone Wars begins. So anytime you ever are curious about it, 22 years before A New Hope is when the Clone Wars is. So if you're ever trying to line up timelines, figure out what's happening, where's what. Now we got 19 years before Star Wars Episode 4, Jedi in hiding. Order 66 eliminates most of the Jedi, and dark times begin. 3 years before, we've got Dagobah instruction. So Luke Skywalker trains under Jedi Master Yoda. And this is 3 years again after Star Wars Episode 4. Sorry if I did that wrong. We got 15 years after Star Wars Episode 4. We got a new order. Luke begins training his nephew, Ben Solo. Now, 34 years after, we've got The Last Jedi. Luke begins training Rey. So those are kind of our main timeline pieces there. We've got 22 before is the Clone Wars begin. And we've got Dagobah. I mean, obviously, we got Episode 4. And then we got 34 years after Luke begins training Rey. So that kind of gives us our prequels, our normal series, and our sequel series, or I guess our original trilogy. And that kind of lays it out for you guys. Next week, we will finish off the Jedi Order. There is just a lot in here. There's a lot on the Jedi Path. There's a lot on the Jedi Code as well, which should be interesting. I'm excited to read about that. And without further ado, I have been Nate. I'm very happy that you have been here and shared this with me today. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.